Friends, at the tail end of Diwali, I would like to upload a video on chocolate making with just 4 ingredient recipe. The first one is 50 grams of butter. Then the second would be some nuts, raisins, which all the children would prefer to just consume, and it is going to add nutritive value. Each goes in the range of some 10 grams. Some raisins, okay, cashew. Then finally I will add the condensed milk such that it will be easy to get the chocolate consistency at the earliest. The quantity of the condensed milk is 400 grams, and so it will give considerable amount of Nutties chocolate taste. And finally, when it comes to a little bit of good thick consistency, I would add cocoa powder for a range of 4 tablespoons, or seeing on the base of consistency and color, I would make it up to little bit addition of 1 more teaspoon, such that it can be converted into a dark chocolate or basically the normal type one. Okay, so now I would ignite the gas stove. And for this, I would like to add a little bit of milk for initial, just some 4 or 5 teaspoons of milk, such that I can melt over the butter. In the meantime, it doesn't get charred down. Okay. Now, this is a very quick and recipe for children and for working women at the tail end of any occasion or any party. They can instantly make it very easily. Again, I would like to explain the ingredients which I have taken up over here. 3 to 4 tablespoons of milk, then 100 grams of butter, 400 grams of condensed milk, okay, then some raisins, nuts, and basically at the tail end, when the consistency of the chocolate gets to come over on the process of churning, I will just add on the cocoa powder such that we can get a good blend. Okay. And now, as such, by tasting it, there is a little lesser quantity of sugar. So, I would like to add just some 3 tablespoons of sugar to this for getting over the consistency and the taste. Okay. And so, when this is happening, it is almost gotten to thick consistency. So I would just add some cocoa powder and stir it well such that it's going to be a aromatic dark chocolate with nutties and everything. Okay. So I will just reduce the flame, minimize it, and blend this cocoa powder well such that it gives a evenly blended look for us. Then as the process goes on, the chocolate mix has started to come over and it is just getting melted. And see to it there is no charring or just too much of overcooking such that it will give a bad odor. So we just mixed it and see now rather than the initial phase, as it is going to melt, we can get an evenly unique color and blend of this chocolate base. Okay, and so I think now itself you feel like it is going to be a tongue tasting yummy recipe wherein the consistency, just to get a smooth even look, I've added 1 more tablespoon of butter and see to it is going to melt down. Okay, see, as you progress there is an even blend of this condensed milk, butter, then the nuts and as well as the sugar. Okay, so it's just coming to a boiling point. And we have to be constantly stirring such that still you get a sticky consistency which is going to be in a state of chapati batter. You can just take it over in the spoon when it cools down and you can just make it into small balls just with the appearance of Cadbury's Nutties, and it will exactly mimic the same taste. And during this COVID period, sometimes we'll not be able to go and procure things outside elsewhere. So this is an immediate, ready to make chocolate for children, right? So see, as it is just boiling, it's giving up a good aroma such that a beautiful cocktail blended with cocoa, nuts, raisins will just come out. It will just be, the cookery time tentatively will be 20 minutes I suppose. And so see, I've got a thicker consistency now. So this has to be just going on. Okay? Yeah. Constantly we have to stir it such that it doesn't stick on to the walls. And if it gets adhered to the walls, it will just emanate a stale odor when you're in the final phase. So constantly with a little patience and perseverance, you can just keep stirring it. Yes, just for your family members and children, isn't it? So you can see it is getting thicker by consistency. Yes, see, isn't it? It's not dropping that easily. as I mixed earlier. So within some 10 minutes, I will reach the consistency. And you see to it, you let it cool for half an hour or so. And in the meantime, you can just try making a small ball of nutties with a spoon such that it will be cooled. Okay. So children would relish a homemade chocolate more than anything, isn't it? Yes. See? And finally, you can either make it into balls or the other way around. You can just plate the plating media with a little mild coating of butter and then just pour this recipe down to that plate such that within a span of half an hour it will get just thickened to the chocolate phase. Okay? Yeah. See? It's just coming elsewhere out of the pan beautifully, and the blend looks to be really great, isn't it? As it progresses, though if you're going to be an amateur even, you can just try it out. By your hands-on experience, you can judge the consistency, and by practice you can get the actual thick consistency by look, and if necessary very ardently, if you feel you cannot just churn it so constantly without moving your hands, you can add little bit of butter, but too much of butter will make the consistency of chocolate very soggy and you cannot get the thickness. So this is the phase, and when you let it cool for just half an hour, it will be just beautifully turning into a Cadbury's Nutties chocolate. And more than that, rather than the commercial people at home, we add a higher quantity of nuts, raisins, and some 2 balls of chocolate will have high calorific value for children who are denying to consume the nuts just raw. And so this is a great recipe for the tail end of Diwali. And friends, just try to mimic the same process, and if you just get a good outcome, just send me some pictures or videos from your site and try to like my blog. Okay? Yeah. It's to the final phase. So in order to just keep it avoid sticking, I just put just half teaspoon or tablespoon of butter such that it is just coming out beautifully without sticking out to the pan. Isn't it? Can you see the raw butter melting down to a proper consistency such that, and see, you cannot see the pan stick over with the chocolate. You have to just make it beautifully like this. And when it is to the final phase, we can just see to it doesn't stick over to the walls with the assistance of 2 or 3 ladles. And so you can see some constant bubbling, and it has got totally, yes, just to great thicker consistency. By half an hour time, you can just evening time to set it over, can get beautiful Cadbury chocolate. Okay, see, it's almost over. I've got the consistency, right? And so when you let this mixture to cool down for a while, you can make it into balls for ready to consume chocolate. Okay, see, it's almost come to a final thicker consistency, and just simmer it still down such that it is just when you set it to room temperature, this will get thickened. But just for me to demonstrate for you to make it into an ball consistency, I'm still churning it a little bit, right? And if you're interested for an immediate result, you can just put them in a freezing tray with an aluminum foil, and then after some 20 minutes, you can just make it into balls. Now I'll just switch off the flame. Okay, and so you can see the consistency of this, right? As it is piping hot, I'm unable to touch it. So after letting it to cool for a while, you can just smear some butter in your hand. See, like this, you take some butter in your hand, just flatten it, and after that you can take half the quantity which I've shown in the spoon, and you can just make it into balls. See, now itself you can see them as balls, right? You can see it in the mallet. Look here, it is just coming to a ball consistency, and when it cools down, you can still make it little better. Now I'll just try making it for you. You can make it into ball or just a desired shape as per your children, and you can increase the quantity twofold if you want a higher number of this. See, as it is very hot, I'm unable to roll it down. Just give it some 10 minutes time, still more. See, it's come to the chocolate phase, isn't it? So, friends, you can just leave it to the refrigerator for a while, and you can make it into Cadbury balls. Yes, see, cool it down, you get nice beautiful chocolates. So thank you.